Hi guys, Puddin here with a game for you in my Tier 10 Japanese carrier, the Hack. Now I don't know my captain skills off the top of my head, but I guarantee you I ain't taking expert marksman or last stand or fire prevention. Now this isn't so much about the gameplay. It's more or less about the discussion, the topic, my thoughts, my feelings, and trying to get a sense of your guys' thoughts and feelings too. Trying to actually just, get a conversation, keep it civil, and get it going. The other thing is, if you did not know, we finally do have a Twitter account, and a link to that will be in the description down below. If I can get it through some sort of annotation, I will definitely put it in this replay. Now, this is a replay from the CV, which is why you're not going to see my aiming reticles. I really wish Wargaming would finally come out with a decent replay system. I mean, the only thing that was asked for longer than a replay system was British battleships, and like when the Warspite came out, like everybody wants a replay system. I know that's not their big focus, and we're here to discuss CVs. And as you can see by the title, CVs, should they stay or should they go or should they wait? What I mean by that is, should they leave it in game, call it what it is, this is the best they can get, and if you don't like it, well, tough cookies. Or should they go? Just cut. And what I mean by just go, you know what? Like the saying is, just cut your losses and drop it. Like, just completely get rid of CVs, reimburse everybody the credits, the money, the blooms, the whatever, and just yank carriers out of the game completely, and never to be seen from again. Park them right next to the submarines that you said would never appear in the game. Or should they pull them? Should they pull them from the game? I don't know how they would handle the premium carriers, but just pull them and wait until they get a much better system or a much happier medium. I think the third option is the least attractive for anybody. Now, I know Wargaming is getting a lot of data with everybody playing carriers. Carriers are a little bit more popular than they were before, but they're still a small percentage of the player base, especially mid and higher tiers. I think some of the overgrowing issues is it's going to be extremely difficult to balance out AA. I would like to see the old AFT come back to where it extends your firing range and just put everything down as continuous damage instead of these flat clouds that kind of is a little bit RNG based, and for some reason I can try doing all the dodging and turning and twisting and just completely run right into a flat cloud, and while like the really good players just manage to avoid them altogether somehow. I mean, it's RNG where these flat clouds pop up, unlike dodging shells. Dodging shells, well, where they land, but you have to know what to do to dodge them. Now, maybe I'm just that much of a noob with dodging flak, and I'm getting exactly what I deserve, and maybe I just have to bite the bullet and realize I suck at dodging flak, send my planes in, lose them, whatever, because it's not like I'm penalized harshly like the old carriers where I lose planes. Now, my personal thoughts, especially with most of the patches being out as far as carriers, and I think they're waiting for a next big patch to introduce something new, is, Wargaming has gotten a lot of data, and I'm I'm fine with them. I say that with a sigh. Like, of course, when I'm in my destroyer and the guy is hunting me down, relentlessly, he's like, oh, it's just annoying. I wish he would just go screw off, mess with somebody else, leave me alone. But I'm doing exactly that to this lightning. Now the only difference is nobody's shooting at the lightning, and I've failed to really do any damage. So I'm like, screw this. I'm done. I'm moving on because I'm not being effective or helping the team. Now, I am bad at doing bomb drops and getting better at torpedo drops. But one of my bitches is, why does the Midway get so many more torpedoes and the Hack gets a choice between 2 or 4? And the long-range torps are near damn impossible to hit anything, it feels like. I mean, I've seen so many of the really good carrier players go, screw that, I'm going with just the 2 torps, because the long range are just such a pain in the ass. I like how the Midway gets HE bombs and the Hack gets AP bombs, just to distinguish the 2 carriers. But just make it 4 torpedoes for the Japanese. The short range, 2 or whatever. Just I don't know. It just feels like you get so many more hits on a Midway than the Hack, and you have to do so many more attacks with your torp planes. But you know what? That's just me. That's just my personal choice. I'm sure other people prefer it the way it is. The other thing I'm sure people are still complaining about is the lack of control you get with your ship when your planes are in the air. I don't know how that can be fixed, but it would be nice if you can at least, when you bring up the mini-map, get control of your speed at least. I mean, that would just be so much more helpful. There are so many times I put myself in a position that I'm in now where I need to turn and run, but I was only going a quarter forward in case we were winning the engagement. Stick with my fleet, we're losing it. Like, I forgot to go full steam ahead, which is allowing these guys to get close. I know one of the biggest complaints from people were, it's not fair that the carrier can just delete me. And I say that like that on purpose. A battleship can delete a cruiser. A battleship can delete a destroyer. A battleship can delete another battleship. And I mean from full out to nothing. I've seen it. I've done it. Kind of uncommon for a battleship to do that to another battleship. But they've done it to destroyers, even without detonations, and they've done it to cruisers without detonations. So this whole notion that, carriers can just one-strike everything. Cruisers can delete, torpedo ones can delete everything. Destroyers can delete any ship it wants with its torpedoes. So this whole notion that it's not fair that the carrier is just deleting me at the start of the game, to me it's just, you're whining. You're being a little whiny bat. Now the really good players know what to delete, how to delete, and who to go after to delete. And the issue with that is 9 times out of 10 the thing they're deleting is the destroyer, because he's so far in front he doesn't have access to, some of them don't have access to defensive fire, and their only option is to smoke and wait for the fleet to show up. It's because they're not with their fleet. Like, if you see a carrier and you know he can delete you, stick with your fleet a little bit. Tell them, hey, I need you to move up. I need AA at the cap in order for me to cap it. You guys don't have to be in a cap, but I need it a lot closer. I mean, so that whole argument is gone. And the reason I bring that up is because I don't even turn for torpedo planes anymore. It's a waste of my time. Because I'm sticking with the fleet. I may turn. I'm probably going to turn for the first one just to minimize the damage. But I'm sticking with the fleet, so his planes aren't going to get eaten up to where he doesn't want to torp me. He has to make a loop over a bunch of AA to come get a strike on me. And if I'm off by myself, all the turning and dodging in the world really just is. You're annoying the guy annoying you. It's just. I mean, that's the other thing. Like, carriers have turned into an annoyance. They don't delete things anymore unless your name is Destroyer and the Midway wants to go after it. But even the Midway needs to do 2 to potentially 3 drops on you. I've never deleted anything with these AP bombs, but then again, I suck, and I acknowledge this. But, like, these AP bombs can delete things. That's what I think is funny, is everybody fears the torpedoes when the torpedoes kind of tickle, and the bombers are just wrecking face. The one big the one big thing I'm still all for, and I wish they would just do it, is get rid of the fighter. Get rid of the fighter consumable. It's a waste, and it's a joke in my opinion. The only thing I use it for is to keep the DD spotted and hopefully have people shoot at it, or where I need to line up my drop on them. Now, of course, you're seeing an extremely good game out of me. This is a very rare game for me. I'm usually only averaging about 80K or less a game, because I am just that bad in carrier. I'm not a carrier main. I do believe I would speak more for the casual player, but you know what? It's still a class that I want to learn and have a better understanding of it than what I have now. Which is why I do play these once in a while. But I mean, I really wish this topic is just so confusing to even cover, whether it should stay or whether it should go, because 99% of the people are on one side of the fence or the other. Either you like it or you don't. There are so very few who are in the middle and says, you know what, this is fine. I kind of like this system. I think there's still some problems. I think there's still some issues that need to get worked out. But the one thing I can say is wargaming usually goes by the data for like ships when they're played. To give you an example, when they nerfed the Alsace, Sneaky, Rob, myself, Spider, and a bunch of other guys were sitting around talking, like, why are they nerfing the Alsace? That thing doesn't need a nerf. The thing probably needs a buff. Well, Sneaky went and looked up the stats and started spewing out stats. You know, of course, I fell asleep because there was lack of dinosaurs. But at the end of the day, like, the stats were saying, no, this ship is overperforming. We're just idiots and didn't know how to make it work, or we didn't spend enough time with it to make it work. And that's what I mean. Wargaming goes off by those stats. So if you definitely want something changed, especially ship, play it. If you want it buffed, play it poorly. If you want it nerfed, play it extremely well. I don't know why you'd want it nerfed. But the other thing is, I believe it was Master Ali, when we were doing Stunts podcast, had said, Wargaming needs to bring these things in weak. Make them weak. Don't make them strong, make them weak. Don't make them extremely weak, just make them weak. Because people don't like to hear the word nerf. As soon as they hear, oh, something's going to get nerfed, everyone's going to go play it so they can say, oh, I played it pre-buff, or pre-nerfed, and And then when they play it again, oh yeah, this thing is so horrible. Oh my god, this buff killed, or this nerf killed it. People like to hear the word buffed. And if they brought in the carriers week and said, hey, we need to buff carriers, and like, you know, oh, we need to buff them again, oh, we need to buff them, people are going to play them more and more often because, like, oh, these things are getting buffed. Oh, I got to see what the buff is. I wonder if this buff is good. I wonder if this buff makes it OP. I wonder after this buff is going to go, if they're going to hit it with the nerf bat. And if they just do it slowly, but going out and saying we're going to buff things, things are going to work out better. It's the same thing with, you know, if they did with AA, like, oh, they nerfed AA. Oh my God, everyone. And it's just the funny thing. Oh my God, AA's been nerfed to the ground, and then you hear another guy, oh my God, AA's so goddamn strong. What that was like? It's all over the place, and it just simply comes from the choice of words. And you know, like they said, you know, oh, we had to buff it, and you know, they did do buffs to it, but you know, slight buffs, minimum buffs. The other thing is AA doesn't tear up well. I mean, that's just the fact of life, especially considering that there are no more odd tier carriers, so all the odd tier ships are either gods or gimps. You know, like, oh man, it's a tier 8 carrier, I'm a tier 9. Oh, I'm wrecking them, I'm wrecking them. Ah, crap, it's a tier 10. Oh, look, I shot down a plane. And if anybody saw, like, the Kings of the Sea, where the ZR Minotaur just was focused down by the carrier. I mean, that's supposed to be the AA vessel, and he shot down 3 planes? But of course, we're talking about highly skilled people versus highly skilled people. But I think that's, you know, an interesting indication of how AA kind of works. It's you know, it really is the continuous AA, and then it's the, well, did he fly through a flat cloud or not? I think if they did flat clouds for gameplay and visuals, I love it. I mean, this AA, I mean, let's face facts. Yeah, I'm probably losing planes, whatever. But this AA looks awesome. I mean, this looks nice. But if they just made it all continuous, and then started messing with the flat clouds really slowly, like, oh, if you want to do a flat cloud, you get an extra 10% damage done to your ship, and like, oh, we need to buff it, and they buff it to 11%. Oh, it's still not strong enough, so we're gonna buff it to 12%. I think Wargaming would have been a lot better off doing that instead of having the community so divided on whether or not, really, in essence, carriers should even be in a game. The other thing is, carrier gameplay is so much more different than the surface vessels. It's going to be hard for them to do this. I think carriers should stay. I may not enjoy playing them as much as like some of the surface vessels, but it's still kind of fun to go, you know, pull out the heck every once in a while and just go, let's just go, whatever. You know, Wargaming is still, and the reason we know Wargaming is still working on it is because all of the AA achievements still aren't in, and I do believe you don't even get experience for shooting down planes because, you know, somehow, and I don't understand this, I mean, there are guys out there getting 99 plane kills. I mean, just doing a metric ass stunt. Now, I'm not going to actually get this drop off, and something is going to finish this. So now it's just time for the post-battle results and your guys' thoughts in the comments section. I hope you guys enjoyed this replaying this conversation, and I really think CVs should stay in a game. I think they should leave them on live. They shouldn't yank them and bring them back again when they say, okay, we finally got it, now we just need to fine-tune it. But I do recognize that there is still a lot of work that needs to be done with these carriers to make the gameplay fun and enjoyable for everybody. I don't think they should pull them because carriers were a big part of naval battles. While this is a naval arcade game, carriers did change the way nations fought naval battles and what ships they built. Carriers single-handedly killed battleships. Nobody built battleships because aircraft carriers were the way of the future. Doesn't mean that we stopped using them, but nobody built any after World War II while everybody was trying to build carriers or deal with aircraft carriers because that was the future of naval warfare along with submarines. Enough of that. I look forward to seeing your guys' comments down in the section, in the lovely comment section down below, which is below the which is above the description, which has our favorite streamers and our new Twitter account link. We do appreciate all the support you guys do give us. We do love the replays you send us. The email for that is in the description down below. Oh, look, where our Twitter's at. Right below, and right below that is the comment section, guys. Please remember to compliment good teamwork, good team play. We are quick to report, slow to compliment. Please hit that like and subscribe button, and have yourselves one heck of a great day.